They claim that you will find whatever you're seeking there. They claim that when visitors arrive in Vietnam, they quickly grasp the basics, but the rest must be experienced. The first thing that strikes you is the scent, which offers everything in return for your soul. You hardly even recall your identity or the situation you were trying to flee. Once you begin your investigation of Vietnam, moving frequently and changing locations will expose you to a wide range of variations. The economy began to react to tourism, with investors reaping the rewards and residents receiving meager bits of the pie. Unfortunately, some con artists have developed their skills to the point where they can defraud you in 100 different ways, often without your knowledge. The following advice can help you enjoy your trip without becoming overly concerned about a few avoidable frauds. Let's begin. Scams involving motorbikes are rather widespread in Vietnam. There are a few things you need to know before you hop on one because they're absolutely everywhere here. But it is certain that you will do so at some point. Whether you're traveling the entire country on your own motorcycle or simply taking a motorbike taxi around the city, each has its unique scams that you should be wary of. Taking a motorbike taxi as opposed to a standard cab may be simpler if you're traveling alone, especially if you don't have any luggage. Additionally, they're inexpensive because they only fit one person rather than a car. Well, unless your driver tries to take advantage of you, that is. You will almost always decide on a definite fee before moving forward. This is the final cost, provided the driver is decent. However, if they don't, they might add a tenth of a zero to the end, increasing your price by 10. They will adamantly claim that you misheard and that the price is what you initially agreed to. There is nobody else nearby to defend you, so it's just your word against theirs. Utilizing the Grab app is the simplest way to avoid being taken advantage of by a motorbike taxi. Similar to Uber, you agree on a fare before boarding, and since this fare is recorded on your phone, no one can object to it. Now, purchasing a motorcycle in Vietnam is a fantastic way to explore the nation. You will have the opportunity to explore more and venture off the beaten path than the majority of tourists do. However, having a car in a foreign nation does sadly make you more susceptible to scammers. Being conned while purchasing a motorcycle is among the most frequent events. This can manifest as a broken bike or shady documentation. Surprisingly, it's even possible to have the motorcycle switched on you, with everything going smoothly until the last minute when the bike is replaced with a subpar variation of the same model. The best way to avoid this is to conduct research beforehand and purchase from a reliable business. Online possibilities are plentiful, so completing your homework is essential. Be careful to check the evaluations left by previous visitors or ask your hostel for advice. Vietnam is not exempt from this scam, which is widespread in Southeast Asia. You can discover that your passport is being kept captive while the owners demand payment for harm that wasn't your fault. The next motorbike rental fraud in Vietnam is worse though. The practice of the motorcycle rental staff approaching customers to steal their motorcycles have made headlines. Evidently, the rider of the motorcycle is unaware that the firm actually stole the vehicle. The guy in charge of the motorcycle is now in a very unpleasant and challenging situation. Now they will be required to pay high fees if they show up at the motorcycle rental shop without the bike. Asking tourists if they've used one and their advice is the best course of action. There is always the option of asking your hotel or guest house for a recommendation, but doing so runs the danger of them receiving bribes or a cut of the proceeds from the business they suggest you visit. Oh yes, everyone who has ever traveled is all too familiar with the cab scam. However, they're all too widespread in Vietnam and essentially all of Southeast Asia. Vinasun, which is white in color, and My Linh, which is green in color, are the two best transportation providers in this region. Most of the drivers that work for these businesses are respectable and honest. However, other taxi businesses exploit this by imitating the car's color schemes, just like the duplicate business scam. Unfortunately, the meters in these vehicles tend to increase much more quickly than they would in a reliable cab. It's best to only travel with Vinasun or My Linh in order to avoid taxi scams in Vietnam. Use the Grab app instead of searching for them if you can't find them. Or if, like me, you have poor vision and don't want to deal with the embarrassing situation of realizing it's too late and a need to make a reason not to board the fake cab. As soon as you begin walking around the streets of Vietnam, you will notice locals selling fruit baskets and coconuts while they're dressed up. Both of these scams work in a similar way. You snap a photo because you're so fascinated by how the salesman balances these baskets of fruit or coconuts on their shoulders. One of two things will happen from here. First, they will happily smile at the camera, but after that, they'll start charging a lot of money for the pictures. The existence of many, totally separate enterprises operating under the same name is a frequent phenomenon in Vietnam. This typically takes the shape of renowned businesses that might draw tourists, although in actuality, these companies are unrelated to those bigger ones. They use the same name, or one that sounds extremely similar, in the hopes that tourists will recognize it and choose their services over those of the competitors. However, the issue is that it's extremely possible that their services won't be up to par with what you would hope for. Another scam of massage is ready to prey tourists. A handsome woman on the street frequently uses flirtation and loud laughter to persuade a man to enter her home for a massage. But as soon as he pays, the stunning woman leaves, leaving a grumpy person with gorilla rough hands to provide the therapy. Another popular con is overcharging unsuspecting people for necessities like towels and water. The thugs take over when you refuse to pay. What is the story's lesson? Avoid pursuing attractive people into dark corners. Instead, conduct accurate research online. ATM skimming is a regrettable phenomenon that has spread throughout the world, and it is also one of our scams in Vietnam. Since Vietnam is mostly a cash-based country, you'll probably find yourself at the ATM quite frequently. Unbeknownst to you, the air-conditioned, sparkling ATM you just used had a device that logged the information from your card. Selecting the right ATMs to use is the greatest approach to prevent ATM skimming. Make sure you go to ones in regulated settings, like banks, where employees are watching the machine with cameras or a guard is on duty. Hope you all enjoyed this roller coaster ride. By the way, how did you experience knowing this city? Excited about the next video? Comment to tell us while subscribing to our channel, and roll the key to hit the bell icon to get notified from us for more upcoming videos. See you all next time. Adios.